Welcome back. Joining us again are our guests from Erbil in northern Iraq, Dindar Zabari, Kurdistan Regional Government Coordinator to the UN Affairs. From Istanbul, Hasan Koni, Professor of International Law and Relations at Istanbul University. Professor Koni, Ankara has asked Baghdad to launch a domestic military attack on the PKK. Will they help you?
They've been working together, and and Turkish ambassador was already in Iraq to talk to Mr. Maliki, Prime Minister. And this is working slowly. And suddenly, at the end of May, and now in June, PKK movements accelerated. And we don't know why. Why there is this kind of rush. Otherwise, everything was going smoothly. That's why Turkey has to do some action at the borders. That's the main reason. Turkey is not going to interfere to stop any election within Iraqi areas. So this is mainly against the terrorism within Turkey and the border crossing.
What do you think,
like this.
Mr. Zabari, the regional fallout will be if Turkey does take any action, limited as it may be?
First of all, Turkish government knows very well that Iraq is at the very critical stage of the history. And Iraq, it is in the period of transition to the stability and secure place and secure government. I think what Turkey can do and help Iraq is not to, by incursions and by building up military built up on the border to Iraq and make Iraq more destabilized. Turkish government is committed itself through the Sharm el-Sheikh meeting in Egypt, part of the 63 states who have signed international compact with Iraq to help the stability and security of the country and also to help Iraq with reconstruction efforts. The today position that Turkey is insisting on incursions in the Iraqi affairs, it will not be helpful. It will not be helpful for Iraq. It will not be helpful for the international community. International community is facing a great challenge today in Iraq, which is to help Iraq to stabilize, to help Iraqi communities to recognize each other, to live with each other, and to help the internal affairs of Iraq to be on the right track. Turkish government will not be of help to the area and to the situation of Iraq today. We believe that it's best for the Turkish government not to be worried on 3-4 incursions per month, maybe in some of the area that will not affect anything right now. Iraq has a problem. Iraq suffers daily from explosions. Iraq suffers from the huge ethnic cleansing. Thousands of the Kurdish families have left Mosul areas just in the last 2 years. More than 22,000 families from Kurdish origin, Christians, Turkmens, have left Mosul. And this is what we want, the Turkish government, other countries and neighboring states to help Iraq, to stabilize Iraq, and not to build up and make Iraq do more destabilize. Of course, it will be a negative consequence that if Turkey intervenes, and interventions of the Turkish government will not be any success because they will not catch up anything in Iraq. Iraq today needs federal government to be fully in charge of its affairs, and this is what the international community tries to achieve.
Professor Koni, aren't you concerned about what any military action will have on your relationship with the US? I mean, you're a strong ally of the US, but the US is also very close to the Kurds in Kurdistan.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Turkey is respecting the sovereignty of Iraq, but there are some psychological dialogue and operations against those terrorist organizations. You see, the PKK is fighting at the same time against Iran and making incursion within Iran, and at the same time fighting against Turkey. How come this organization is so powerful and they are having more terrorism within Turkey too? So who's supporting this? That's why Turkey is closing down the border areas and making necessary effort to stop this. Otherwise, we are respectful to the sovereignty of Iraq. We are not going to entangle with the United States and nor the Iraqi authorities.
Mr. Zabari, when Abdullah Öcalan renounced violence during his capture, he said that arms should be put down, but arms and violence is obviously exacerbated somewhat. Are you concerned that there's some sort of splinter within the PKK?
I have no information from that side, but I think it's important for Turkish government to have a dialogue with the Iraqi authorities and also with regional authorities in the northern part of the country. In one hand, Turkey says no dialogue with the regional authorities in Kurdistan region, and in the other hand, it insists that why not KRG or other authorities in the north stand against the incursion, stand against the PKK incursions in the areas of Turkish government. There must be dialogue. There must be understanding. We have helped the Turkish government for many years after 94, 93, helping Turkish government to secure the border of the country. And we are committed to that so far. But I think it's important that the dialogue, the mentality, the vision, and understanding to be changed. Iraq is changed. We are facing new Iraq, and this new Iraq has a law, has a principle, and that principle, it means that federal authorities in Baghdad must be discussed with. We have no information what PKK does in what areas of the Turkish side or Iranian side. There are problems in Iraq. Biggest problem that Iraq faces today, it is security of the border of the Iraq. We are not having this only the problem with Turkish government. There are problems with Syrian border. There are problems with Saudi Arabia border. There are problems also with Jordanian border.
Okay, let me just interrupt you there, if I may. I mean, Professor Koenig, Iraq and US must be concerned that you are opening up a new front on their behalf by doing this.
Oh, there is no new front. I mean, since 1984, the incursion from northern Iraq and from Iran was continuing. Now, it is accelerating, and we don't know why. There are American military and regional government, as he said, Mr. Zabari, and the Iraqi government. How come these three authorities cannot stop the movements of this terrorist action against other states? Otherwise, the other states are disrespectful to their sovereignty. I mean, there will be some discussion on foreign policy matters, and that's all. But the terrorism and supporting the terrorism is an offense against other countries. So if they are not so powerful, what will be done? We have to discuss this. And pretty soon, we will be discussing this too.
Okay, I'm sure the EU will be discussing you too at the moment. I mean, will this not affect your membership bid for the EU?
Is this affecting the membership of EU? Yes. I mean, if will be a large-scale military operation against Iraq, this will affect our relations with European Union. That's why Turkey is very careful. You shouldn't regard the rhetoric. Could be a psychological operations too from the both sides.
Okay, but Mr. Zabari, very briefly, excuse me interrupting. Are you concerned that Kurdistan is now going to be turned into a battleground?
Hopefully not, and I believe that the Turkish authorities will always take cautious on that. And I think it's important for the Turkish government to have a friendly relationship with KRG and also with the communities in the Middle East, the most important community, the Kurdish community in the northern Iraq. And I believe that it's a matter for Americans, for Iraqi authorities in Baghdad, as well as the Turkish government to sort out this border security. But my friend just mentioned from Turkish side that how the Kurdish government, Americans, Iraqis, cannot three of them together help and secure this matter. I believe if we could we could do it in Baghdad. We have been helping Baghdad authorities in Baghdad to secure areas in Iraq, to secure areas in the Sunni Triangle. We are facing problems and challenges in Iraq.
And we'll certainly be keeping an eye on that. I'm going to have to stop you there. From Erbil in northern Iraq, Dindar Zabari. And also joining us from Istanbul, Hasan Koeni. Thank you both very much for your time, and thank you for watching us here on this edition of Inside Story. We welcome your comments and suggestions. Please email them to us at insidestory@aljazeera.net. That's insidestory@aljazeera.net. Goodbye for now. Thank you very much for watching.